In this WrestleTalk news, more details on Cody and Brandi leaving AEW, another major surprise plan for WrestleMania, Ollie's review of last night's Dynamite, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on in the wrestling world, because there's a lot happening. Like a lot. Also, I don't have the championship with me because I didn't realize I was recording the news this morning, so I've left it in the office, or I have it for the AEW podcast. That doesn't mean I'm a bad champion. Do not leave a comment saying that I'm a bad champion. No, take your fingers off the keyboard. Stop.
What's up, guys? One and only, well, not one and only, but the first ever true Grand Slam champion, Switchblade Jay White, King Swisherman, has single-handedly sold out Madison Square Garden, telling you make sure you support WrestleTalk.
Support WrestleTalk!
It's been 2 days since the Cody news broke, and I've still not processed it. Earlier this week, it was announced that Cody and Brandi Rhodes would be leaving AEW effective immediately. Everyone's natural reaction was, wait, what? And since then, numerous reports have emerged on details surrounding this decision. There were 2 WrestleTalk news videos put out yesterday discussing exactly that, so go check out those for the full details. There's been even more reports to add to the pile, as Sports Illustrated is reporting that one of the reasons things fell apart between Cody and Tony Khan in AEW was because of Tony Khan taking over the booking of the show. This adds to a previous report stating that a Forbes video diving into Tony Khan's backstory, where he described himself as the booker, the GM, etc. of AEW, upset Cody. The reason for this upsetting Cody is because he saw it as a chance to pay homage to his father, Dusty Rhodes, as a booker, while also further cementing his own legacy. Losing that opportunity in AEW hurt Rhodes more than any loss he suffered in the ring, which makes sense considering Cody wanting to honor his father's legacy has been a top priority for him, constantly going back and forth with WWE in trademark battles trying to get the rights to his father's creations. But as previous reports have stated, he may be heading back to the place that owns those trademark terms in WWE, with Barrasso speculating Cody could start filming vignettes in the Performance Center as soon as this weekend. Interestingly though, his wife Brandi may not be joining him. According to the same Sports Illustrated reports by Justin Barrasso, Brandi is not expected to join her husband in WWE. This doesn't mean her wrestling career is over, of course, as that's an avenue she reportedly still wants to pursue, but she seemingly won't be doing that in WWE. Another report that dropped from Wade Keller on PW Torch indicated that Brandi Rhodes was disliked backstage in AEW. However, several AEW alumni have come out to speak against this report. Nyla Rose tweeted to say, "That is just flat out some bullshit. Brandi was liked by many people backstage, including myself. Is she a polarizing character? For sure, but don't work yourself into a shoot." While Red Velvet chimed in to say, "Brandi Rhodes is very professional and private. Just because she's not out there involved in everyone's drama doesn't make her unpopular backstage. She and Cody had a big hand in helping me." Amanda Huber also noted, "Also seeing articles that nobody has anything nice to say about Brandi's departure, that is such utter bullshit." While Aubrey Edwards said, "The nobody has anything nice to say about Brandi line is such a crock of shit." The wrestling world was shaken to its core earlier this week when the report emerged that Stone Cold Steve Austin could be returning to wrestling, for a few hours anyway, because then the Cody story broke. But still, Stone Cold returning to wrestling. The initial report mentioned that WWE were heavily pitching for Stone Cold to wrestle at WrestleMania, potentially against Kevin Owens. But now Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast is reporting that WWE are hoping Stone Cold's return to wrestling won't just be a one-off at WrestleMania, which has led to natural speculation that Stone Cold could be offered a contract like Goldberg's or Edge's, where he wrestles a handful of matches per year. Dave Meltzer has noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that Stone Cold might not be the only major surprise, however, as he mentioned that another Austin-level surprise is being planned for the show of shows. No word on who that might be, but the only other Austin-level surprise would be The Rock, right? I think those are the only 2 that are comparable. And now, hot tag to Ollie.
Thanks for your support on Patreon, Gavin, Cash Money, Cashewabra, and Liam, Great Scott! You can get your own shout out on patreon.com/WrestleTalk and take part in Fanquizzlemania live later today. Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite. In about 5 minutes. Oh, I love AEW's opening credits. AEW's opening credits are tight. It makes me so excited to see my favourite AEW wrestler-tainers like Sting and Powerhouse Hobbs and Bryan Danielson and... Cody? But where's Cody? Rhodes! The show opened on CM Punk sitting cross-legged in the ring, and for a second there, I thought he'd suddenly turned heel, speaking about how he's straight edge and that makes him better than you. Specifically you. Really, it was just a shocking hook into the thesis of his promo. He said that over a decade ago. Sound familiar? It should do, because it's influenced a generation of wrestlers that came after him, like MJF. It was then time for him to choose the date and stipulation for their rematch. He considered the aptness of the cage, because Max keeps trying to run away from him in the first half of their feud, and it would stop Wardlow interfering. That's certainly the stip I thought he'd go for, but in true AEW style, they found the better than the best version, where he pulled a dog collar out of the gift box in front of him and asked MJF to be his Valentine. CM Punk, you saucy dog. Cody might be gone, but the wrestling is still around. In the killer spot, Punk got MJF to come out and then showed him the photo of them both together when Max was just a fanboy child. Same for Max, that was the best day of his life. For Punk, it was just a Friday. MJF sulked out without saying a word. This was an excellent promo with excellent structure and excellent performances. This was a flawless segment, and it set the tone for this whole episode, which was damn near perfect, especially because Sabrina the Teenage Witch is all elite. Cody who? I've got me a Clarissa now. Bryan Danielson then beat Lee Moriarty in a fantastically fun technical match, which got so technical at one point, both men had their legs pretzeled around each other while doing headstands and punching the crap out of each other. Even Zack Sabre Jr. is watching that spot and going, sorry mate, how do you do that? I hate Boris Johnson. 100% accurate Zack Sabre Jr. impression. Mox came out after to address Danielson's offer. Join him and create a toxic working environment for AEW's younger wrestlers. Mox confessed he'd never beaten Danielson, and he doesn't stand side by side with anyone until he bleeds with them first. So he's not saying yes, but he's not saying no either. Which to me suggests we are getting our violent cake and eating it. Don't really understand that expression, but it applies here because we can still get the Mox versus Danielson match we want at Revolution and hopefully have them earn each other's respect to start their faction afterwards. Max Caster got all the local hometown heat in his opening rap, which made Wardlow's inevitable powerbomb symphony all the sweeter for the crowd. He beat Caster despite Heavy Bowen's interference. Hangman Page managed about 2 words to Tony Schiavone for his in-ring promo when Tony's Britt Baker love rival Adam Cole Bebe interrupted. Defeated male leaves. They had some great lines back and forth, that Cole had to watch his best friends build a wrestling empire without him, that neither man is good at friendship, and whenever they're in the same company together, Hangman just becomes known as the other Adam. Rename one of them already. It's confusing. Cole finished saying when they do come face to face, may the best man win. He shook his hand and left, leaning more into a respectful tweener character for, oh goddammit, Red Dragon just jumped Hangman. Why do I keep letting him in? The Dark Order ran down to save Page, but then 10 weirdly beat up all of security in anger. It certainly is a way to set up Cole versus 10, but I'd argue not the right one, as the viewer should have been left thinking about Cole and Page here, not what was going on with 10? The Young Bucks didn't seem happy that Red Dragon attacked Page with Cole, and it was announced that Jurassic Express will defend their tag titles in a triple threat match at Revolution. You'd think would be the Bucks and Red Dragon. Eddie Kingston made his surprise return next. I know him. I know that guy. He's my friend. Where he stood in Santana and Ortiz's corner against Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. This match totally exceeded my expectations, as Jericho has struggled to make this feud work so far. Turns out he just needed to add Kingston back in again, which completed the storytelling layers to this match. It let Santana and Ortiz shine, particularly Santana's intensity, who actually pinned Jericho relatively clean after Jericho got distracted by Kingston. Full credit to Jericho. There was a Jake Hager right there to take the loss, but he put over Santana strong, and it gives even more fire for his feud with Kingston. Mercedes Martinez versus Thunder Rosa is exactly what AEW should be putting on for their women's division. I'm starting to think the whole put more than one women's segment on a show is actually misguided feedback. We should be asking for the one women's segment we get every week to be showcased properly first. This felt like a big time match with brawling in the crowd, star power, hardcore spots, and Rosa even cosplaying as Becky Lynch that one time. Can't think of anyone else she was dressed as. The excellent Nashville crowd weren't just politely cheering this, they were genuinely into a great match. Rosa hit a driver on a pile of chairs to win, but then Baker, Hayter and Rebel beat down both women afterwards, encouraged on by Sensei John Kreese from Karate Kid in the front row. Maybe this Forbidden Door thing's getting out of hand. Malachi Black and Brody King teased a new member in a short film. Jay White cut a promo on Trent ahead of Rampage. And the main event, with 20 minutes left, was Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. He may be gone, but you could feel Cody watching on from the sky like Mufasa in Lion King. These are two guys he was instrumental in getting over. With two of AEW's 4 pillars in it though, I felt like this match could have done with more of a story or angle in the run-up. It's a special clash, and it should have been built as such. Obviously it was bloody fantastic though. Great counter sequences, Darby working over Sammy's leg, Guevara continuing to have even better cutter timing than Randy Orton, catching a Darby bullet dive in one, but Andrade attacked Darby behind the referee's back, letting Sammy retain for Andrade and Matt Hardy to beat both guys down and leave with the TNT titles. Yes, it was a dirty finish, but I'm all for it to give the TNT title picture an actual story for a change, and setting up Andrade as potentially its next holder. What did you think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. 68% of you voted for Be My Dog Collar Valentine, CM Punk. You so kinky. This episode might not have had an all-time classic match or a shock debut, but it was damn near flawless. Every segment advanced the storylines and made them even better. There wasn't a dud moment in the whole 2 hours, and sometimes I love these solid shows even more than the big ones. This week's Dynamite is 88%. It's Fan Quizzlemania today, where our $10 or above Patreon backers compete live against each other and me in an actual Quizzlemania hosted by Andy Datson. Sign up for today's contest at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Link and details are in the video description below. Now watch Adam Blompier, Laurie Blake and co fight against each other in Board Game Club.
I want to be friends. You're all gonna crush him.
Look at us all! Why do we all turn up together? What the hell is this? Okay, let's just have a look at what is going. Okay, some of you are gonna die. Some of you are gonna die, but it's the only way I survive, and that's all that matters.
Oh, kill yourself!
No, I think you might survive actually, Adam, but this is the only way.
Oh no.
You escaped.
We escaped.
Sully, look at us.
No, you've kept. Oh.